In this video, we have already created the solution and will discuss our editors and managers. The first thing we will look at is your project manager. In your project manager, you have access to a solution which contains a project. If you have a solution that contains multiple projects, all of your projects will be listed in bold. Under your project name, you will have access to hard buttons. In this case, we can see hard buttons for each of the resolutions that were selected when the project was created. To access the hard buttons, double-click on a resolution, which will then render the hard buttons and a graphic that represents the actual piece of hardware. As we can see, we now have access to utilize the reserved joins for hard buttons and do directory-driven page flips to any of the pages that we have created. Note that many options are unavailable until you have at least one page added to your project. All projects require at least one page. Widgets are the HTML5 equivalent of subpages. And assets are global graphic assets that can be used for many things throughout a project. Let us create a page now. When we select Add a Page, it will prompt you to name the page. Now that we have a page that automatically gets selected, you will see it has a star, which signifies that it is marked as first. To modify the page settings or to edit the page, select the pencil icon. To delete the page, select the trash icon. Once the page is open, we now have items that pop up in the block manager. Layer Manager will assist in the management of layers of things that are on the page. If we take a button and add it to my page now, we can see that the Layer Manager populates the body, which is my page itself, and a CH5 button, which is the button we just added to the page. Now that we have selected the button, we can see that the Property Manager is populated with the specific configuration of the button. Here, we have the Block Manager, which houses many Crestron components that are the basic building blocks of all projects' HTML components. Buttons by default are set to auto-name. What if you want to change something about the button? The Layer Manager is how I determine the z-index order of assets or components on my page. If we simply want one button to sit on top of the other, grab it and move it in the Layer Manager. Property Manager will display the properties of any component that is configured on the page. To change the name of a component, or if you want to access a specific state to style the component, you can do that in the Property Manager. You can also add a page flip, show, enable, or disable a component, change its default size, or use one of the pre-configured styles, change shape, orientation, label, or label mode, manage the icon, or link, send, and receive. To use a join for press and feedback control, we can simply give it a number. Now that I have assigned a number, what you will notice is that selected, which is receive feedback for selected, is grayed out. This is because on top we have linked send and receive set to true. Now my press join will be the same as my feedback join for this button. If we choose the false option, we can change the feedback join for receive to something else. In review, the Property Manager gives us access to all the properties that I need to use Crestron components. It will selectively provide abilities depending on what component I have selected. The Editors window gives me access to anything you might want to change. If I have multiple pages in a project, you can open each one and switch between them. If I want to move things around on a page, I can do that in the Editors window. At the top, we have this blue bar. This blue bar contains necessary functions for Crestron Construct: save, save all, open, copy and paste, undo, and redo. It also has build, which allows us to build the compiled output of your project. This is your resolution selector. If you want to make static changes based on the resolution and orientation, you will do that here. You can reset something to default, zoom in, zoom out, or zoom to 100%. Here we have a code viewer. This can be used to check the DOM size, something we covered in another video. Here, you can select the vertical and horizontal center, top, middle, and bottom alignment tools. Here, we have left, center, and right vertical align tools. You can make something the same width, height, or both, equalize vertical placement on corners, and equalize horizontal placement. Here, we have click assign for digital, analog, and serial. All of these are what you would use to perform functions in your Crestron Construct project. If at any time you need help and are unsure of what you're doing in Crestron Construct, select the Help button. The Help button will open the HTML-based help file. This help file runs on a local server on your computer. The application to help file is searchable. For example, we will search for the word button. As we can see, it will take you to all of the instances of the word button within the help file.